good evening, and welcome to Zor House of Prayers, Midweek Sitdown with Mike. Last week we did a special for Veterans Day, and I hope you enjoyed that, and God bless each and every one of you veterans once again. But it got me thinking about our military and the military catchphrases that they have. Like the Air Force is aim high, the Marines, a few good men, the Army, be all you can be. Well, just like I said last week, we as Christians are in God's army, and we need a catchphrase too. And I figured out, be all God created you to be as a Christian. We need to be what God created you to be, what His plan in your life was for you. You see, are you following God's plan? Are you being all that He created you to be? That's the question we need to answer for ourselves. Psalms 139:16 says, "Your eyes saw me when I was formless. All my days were written in your book and planned before a single one of them began." He had it all planned out before you was even in your mother's womb. I'm getting ahead of myself. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "I chose you before I formed you in the womb." He chose you. He knew what He wanted you to do with your life for His purpose, His glory. He had it all planned out for you. "I set you apart before you were born. I appointed you a prophet to the nations." He had it all planned out, church. Are we following His plan? Are we being all God created us to be? Are we? Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you." This is the Lord's declaration. Plans for your well-being, not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. God never intended for us to go through what we're going through. My lands, He made the Garden of Eden, and it was beautiful and perfect. We messed that up. Just like your lives. If it ain't going very well, we messed that up. Because God had it all worked out for us before we was even formed in our mother's womb. You can't get any sooner than that. But you see, church, we are the ones that messed everything up. God had us all planned out. Now, I messed my life up really well. I had a comment from my cousin. Hi, Dawn. I hope you're watching. About if I ever say, where I came from, and I have many times. If you've been following the sermons and stuff, hey, I drank enough booze to float a battleship, and I smoked enough weed to burn a forest down. So, yeah, I'm not no perfect goody little two-shoe Christian. Never was, never will be. Even today, I'll never be perfect. I'm striving toward perfection, just as Paul said. But you know what? I'm not perfect. No one is. The ones that act perfect are the ones that are not near as perfect as maybe me, because they're acting it. But boy, did I get off subject there. Christians, be all God created you to be. That's what we need to do. Matthew 16:25 says, "For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life because of me will find it." If you go with your plan, you're going to lose. I'm telling you right now. Mike tried it many times. Mike's way or the highway. Ask my wife. That's how I used to think. That's how my mindset was. It's God's way or the highway. That's how it goes. That's how it was meant to be. That's how we was created. That's how we was designed to be. God's way or the highway. Adam and Eve found that out because they chose their way, not God's way, out of the garden. God's way or the highway. Be all God created you to be. They had a chance. We have a chance right now. You have a chance. No matter how bad you've messed it up, you can still do a U-turn. You still have a chance to be all God created you to be. And then with that said, even if you have been doing good and been going to church all your life and been doing God's work all your life, are you doing God's plan or your plan? Many of very good Christians and ministers used to go to Zor. My nephew Isaac, one of them, he grew up in Zor and cut his teeth in Zor. And you know what? He could have stayed at Zor because guess what? That's my home church. That's where my family goes. That's where I grew up and this and that. But no, God was calling him to another calling. Now, if Ike would have went with Ike's plan, Hagin's church down here, which I think at the time he took over might have been 20, 25 people or whatever, and now it's up to 200 or so better people. You see, God's plan would have suffered if Ike would have kept his feelings and not followed God's plan. God intended for him to leave and go start Hagin's a new, fresh start. And look what it did. Look what the community at Hagin's would have missed out on if he wouldn't have did what he wanted to do, or did what God wanted him to do, and did what he wanted to do. That's the same in all our lives. You might be doing, like he was working hard at Zor. He was doing good at Zor. So you might be doing good, but is God calling you to something else? Is God calling you for some other duty? And you're comfortable where you're at? And you want to just stay in that comfort zone, and God wants you somewhere else or doing something else? Be all God created you to be. And the only way to do that is get off your plan and go with God's plan. Matthew 5:16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Let them see your good works. They can't see your good works if you're not following God's plan. God's got a plan for every one of us. Even if you're still in the world of sin right now, even if you're not following God right now, even if you're not going to church right now, God still, his plan is intact. We might make the detour, but he's right there, ready to guide us back to the road he wanted us on. Trust me, been there, done that. I took many detours, and I'm now where God intended me to be. And I have further to go. He's stirring in me right now. There's changes coming around. I don't know what they are, but he's already spoke to me. There's big changes coming around because I'm following his plan. I'm doing what he wants me to do, not what Mike wants to do. And I'm giddy about it. I'm happy about it because I'm anticipating what his plan. I know what he has is so much far greater and grander than I could ever dream of. I'd be a fool to follow Mike's plan. And you'd be a fool to follow yours. Christ is putting something on your heart to do it. Do it. Don't wait. The devil will make you second guess God's plan. The devil will make you second guess the thoughts God's putting in your mind. The devil will make it sound like it isn't him. And then sometimes he'll try and make himself sound like he's God. So you got to be careful. And the way to do that, got it tonight. Get in the Word. Right here. That's what tells us this is our roadmap. Church, be all God created you to be. Get off our blessed assurance, as his dad would say, and get the job done. Do what God created you to do. Get off the pew. Or in some cases, get in the pew. Get to church. Zohr at 11 o'clock. I hope everybody can make it. We'd love to see you. And until next week, God bless and have a blessed week. And remember, be all God created you to be. God bless everybody.